Welcome back to Art Club. Today we're going to be creating our own art by Mondrian, or inspired by, I should say. So although Mondrian used just primary colors, we're going to be able to use any of the colors that we have of our tissue paper. Now you could just use your primary colors, so that would be our blue, red, and yellow. And they're called primary colors because from those three colors, plus the help of neutrals like black and white, all the other colors in the world come to be by blending them together, by mixing them, which is pretty cool. So if you want to stay in the style of Mondrian, you would want to choose just those three colors. So let me get mine out here. They're a little bit hard to see. There's some yellow, here's some blue, and I'm going to need some red as well. But once again, if you want to use other colors too, because they're fun and beautiful, and you want to get even more creative, go right ahead. Another thing I should mention is that with our tissue paper, whatever colors you may choose, you might also choose to make them different shapes and sizes. Try to stick with more square and rectangles if we're keeping in the theme. But you can see that I might cut it into different sized rectangles and squares. We could do that. Always making sure I kind of peel those apart so I'm only getting one or so at a time. And let's see, maybe this one. Maybe we'll cut right here. I might want another square, but I'm going to make it smaller. Here's another few pieces. I'm going to keep a nice big blue one. Maybe do a few more smaller ones. So just have fun cutting these out into different shapes and sizes, whatever you think will look kind of neat. Maybe we'll do a real tiny little square here. There we go. All right. Well, that looks like enough to at least get started. Now, of course, if this goes too fast at all, feel free to pause it, slow it down at any point. All right, our next task then is going to be to glue these down onto a white piece of paper. So we can use our liquid glue, just try to get close to those edges, like that. Let's see. And be careful, because of course tissue paper does rip pretty easily, so we don't want to move it around too much once we've got it kind of in place. If you find it easier to use a glue stick instead, you can also feel free to do that. Of course, trying to get those edges and being careful not to pull too hard that it's going to rip. Now you'll notice, first off, you'll probably notice that my glue is purple. It will dry clear though, so that's the good thing. But you'll notice that I'm putting these all kind of, vertical and horizontal. I'm not putting any at a diagonal like this. I'm keeping them all very up and down or sideways, but nothing at an angle. We don't want any that would be like diamond shape for this style. Okay, so I'm going to keep on, maybe I want another big red one in here. Just kind of play around and cover a majority of your paper. There can be some spaces in between because we will be filling in those spaces in just a minute with our pipe cleaners. That's looking pretty nice. Let's see, maybe I want another red up here, I think. Let's get that. Maybe actually I want, yeah, no, this is good. I'm going to go, notice I'm just kind of playing. There is no like set way that you have to do this by any means. Just kind of like, oh, we'll put some here and there. There's a lot of freedom to this. As long as we're making sure they're either sideways or up and down, we will be good to go. What do I want next? I think next I'm going to do another red one maybe over here to balance out that red. I'll only do the top half here just so that the video doesn't go for too long. And once again, you guys can kind of choose what you like to put where. Do one more here. I think I'm going to do, oh no, I'm going to have to do two because I want another yellow in there. I want another blue and I want another yellow. So I keep changing my mind. But this is fun. So once again, if you want to use a glue bottle instead of a glue stick, if you find that it's ripping on you using the glue stick, feel free to use a glue bottle instead. You might need your at-home mentor's help if you're really having, if you're in a sticky situation. Get it? All right. I'm going to put this one kind of halfway in between. Look at that, already started to dry to clear. How fast that changes. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now I've got my base. I would probably glue some more down here, but for now, that's looking pretty good for our demo video anyway. So next I'm going to get out my pipe cleaners. Now if you decide you don't want to do the pipe cleaners, if you are watching this portion, you're like, don't want to do it like that. You could also always just get a straight edge and a permanent marker and draw these lines. But what we want to do, we want to get these pipe cleaners nice and straight as we can. And then we want to find areas where we can kind of almost like outline portions of our squares and rectangles. We don't necessarily want it cutting through any of them though. So like for example, I wouldn't want to put this matching this one because it would cut through that one. So maybe something like that looks pretty good. Try to get it as straight as I can, but if you've worked with pipe cleaners before, you know that they kind of have a mind of their own sometimes. So if there's a little bend in it, that's totally okay. I might even put something heavy on top of that, like a book, or maybe I'll put this on top of it just to hold it down if it's being a little goofy. And then let's see, this piece looks pretty nice and straight already. So maybe I'll glue that one from like here to there. That looks pretty good. And I'm just going to continue. I'll pick this up for now. I know I'll have to put that back down later. But I'm just going to continue to add outlines around my piece of paper here. Once again, if you don't really feel the desire to do this with the pipe cleaners, an alternative would be using just a black permanent marker instead. Let's see. I am lucking out. A lot of these are ending up being like the right size without even having to cut them. It's looking cool already though, isn't it? And if you look up that artist, you'll see that a lot of his work looks very similar to what we're creating here. And the spelling, of course, will be in our slides as well. So you can see the example there too. And then while we're in the slides, don't forget to come on into the Hall of Frame and to share your artwork from today or from any of our days that we've been creating artwork. You'll come on in and claim your frame by putting in your name and then coming up to Insert, Image, and Camera, and holding your picture, mine's not really dry yet, holding your artwork up to the camera and hitting Capture, and it'll automatically go right into the slide for you. I hope you do this because I am really looking forward to seeing how your artwork comes along. Don't be afraid to put heavy objects on top of these pipe cleaners if they're being a little sassy, like mine are. I'll have to set this on top and help hold them into place. Can't wait to see how they turn out. I'll see you next time.